Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Alrighty, so if you're like one of the 2 people who regularly watches my channel, you know I'm a big Star Wars fan because I've referenced it quite a bit on this channel. So in celebration for May the 4th, I thought it would be fun to come on here and rank the Skywalker Saga movies from my least favorite to my favorite. No, I'm not going to pretend that I'm being objective and then just rank them subjectively like a bunch of people do. I'm just gonna be honest and make sure everyone understands up front from the get-go that I am playing favorites today, because that's more fun. Hello? Like, that's just more fun. If you want to see me try and rank the movies objectively, look at the image on the screen right now. Obviously, no one can be 100% purely objective, because that's literally not how humans work, but this is the closest we are getting from me. Okay? Okay. Now, let's get into my ranking from least favorite to favorite. And if you enjoyed this video, then please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you! Alrighty, coming in at number 9, dead last, is The Phantom Menace. We're starting out with a choice that shouldn't be a hot take, but apparently is. Look, everyone can love what they love, and I'll need y'all to remember that when we get to my number 1, but this movie is just so bad. The plot is a mess, the dialogue is awful, and it has Jar Jar in a prominent role. Like, that's enough to put it here. It takes itself way too seriously for my liking, and much of the acting is questionable. I just don't have any fun with this movie. The only good things about it are Qui-Gon is cool, the Naboo lightsaber battle with, him and Kenobi and Maul is pretty epic, and it does create Maul, it does introduce him. But granted, Maul really doesn't become interesting until the Clone Wars and Rebels. He's not really interesting here, so I guess that kind of takes a few points away from that point. Yeah, I just really don't enjoy this one. If I had to pick one movie out of this entire saga that I just do not like, it would have to be The Phantom Menace. I don't really like it. No. Let's move on. Number 8 for me is Attack of the Clones. This is another one that I'm not really a fan of. For me, it's not that this movie is outright terrible like Phantom Menace is, it's just kinda boring for the most part. In theory, Obi-Wan uncovering a secret army created for the Republic and the Jedi that no one knew about for a decade, and Anakin and Padme falling in love should be really, really interesting and fun to watch. But something about the way it's executed just doesn't land for me personally. However, when we get to Geonosis and everything happens there with the arena and the fights with Dooku though, I really do enjoy that last third of the movie. It's very exciting and very, very fun. Overall, it's not terrible and I can see the appeal honestly, but for me, it's just kinda boring for about 2/3 of the way through. Number 7 for me is A New Hope. Yes, it's legendary. Yes, we wouldn't have the rest of the franchise without it. Yes, it's good. Yes, it's a classic. It's all of those things, of course. It's so good. But also, it's a bit boring in my opinion. Okay, wait. Maybe boring is not the right word. Slow. It's slow. Nothing wrong with slow pacing. It's just not typically my style. I prefer a reasonable pace of we're moving things along in a timely manner. That's just me personally. I like it, okay? It's just not an absolute favorite for me. I like it. It's just not an absolute favorite for me. Number 6 for me is The Last Jedi. Now, admittedly, when this first came out, I hated it just like everyone else, but since then, I've grown and matured, and some of you need to also, because this is a good movie. I enjoy Hermit Luke and think his ending was very well done and fitting for him. I love Rose and want to see her come back. Holdo is kinda an icon, though I do understand why some people hate her, and everything that happens on the Supremacy and Crate is iconic. From the throne room scene with Snoke to the fight with the guards, and everything in the hangar when Finn and Rose are about to be executed, and then everything just goes to haywire and explodes. It's all just so good and fun and entertaining for me. I love it so much. And I'm sorry, but Kylo is freaking hilarious with his tantrum on Crate over seeing Luke's projection. He is so hilarious in that scene. Okay, you're so mad over seeing his ghost. It's so funny to me. My biggest problem with this movie, though, is just that I don't think it pushes the plot or any of the character arcs forward enough to lead us into the final movie at all. It's too small, both in scope and timeline-wise, to be able to make the final movie in this trilogy, let alone this whole saga, truly satisfying. I would have rather this story been a book or an arc of like a Clone Wars style Resistance show, because the story of this movie is good. It is a good story, and it does have some incredible moments and visuals, but it just doesn't feel grand enough to be a mainline Skywalker Saga movie. Either that, or just ditch the whole trilogy thing and just make an episode 10 so we have the breathing room to include this movie's story and still have time to push the plot forward enough to make a satisfying ending overall. And not like having to rush an ending or anything in a final movie, because we didn't really pace this out properly. Number 5 is The Empire Strikes Back. How can this not be in everyone's top 5? It's iconic, it's great, and it's some of the best storytelling in the saga. Do I even need to explain why this is in my top 5? Like, okay, objectively speaking, we all know this is the best one. Obviously, it's why original trilogy stands never get involved in the prequel versus sequel stand wars, cause girl, they have this movie. They already won. They know they're better than the rest of us. Like, let's be serious. I love the stuff on Dagobah with Luke training with Yoda and growing his power. The stuff on Cloud City with the rest of the gang is so intriguing with all the different twists and backstabbing going on. And of course, the iconic "No, I am your father." Like, oh my god, girl, this movie is just so great. There's a reason why it helped change cinema. Like, it did. Number 4 is Revenge of the Sith. Oh no, I've committed the secret 8th deadly sin of not putting this movie as number 1 on this list. Ooh, I'm gonna get stabbed, aren't I? Jokes aside, I really like Revenge of the Sith. It's by far the best of the prequels in my opinion, and is really elevated by all of the events of the Clone Wars show. The drama, the betrayal, the angst, oh, it's like a soap opera. The fights are also some of the best in the entire saga, like hello, Mace vs. Sidious, Anakin vs. Kenobi, and I love how this film manages to simultaneously end on a sad and hopeful note, with Order 66 happening and the Empire rising to power, but also the rebellion is already beginning and the next generation of Skywalkers are born. It's just so perfectly Star Wars that even when things are bleak, there's always some sort of light out there, even if it's faint. The only thing that I don't really like about this movie is Padme's role basically just being the heartbroken, expecting wife when she is so much more than that. And I so wish her deleted scenes had been kept in, or at least re-added at some point, because they are so good and they fit perfectly within this movie. Moving right along to the top 3, at number 3, we have Return of the Jedi. Oh, absolutely. This one is so underrated in my opinion. Like, everyone always says Empire is the best and Revenge is their favorite, but honestly, Return is just better than both of them, in my opinion. It's more enjoyable. And the girlies that get it, and if you don't, I'm sorry you have to live like that. But if you get it, you get it. This is such a perfect end to the original trilogy. We get to see our heroes going on an adventure together as opposed to them being separated for the most part like in the previous one. The whole thing with the Ewoks thinking 3PO is like a golden god is so camp, it's so iconic, I love it so much. The space battle over the second Death Star is one of my favorite space battles in the saga alongside the Battle of Exegol. Everything that happens in that throne room is so powerful, and my favorite parts in the entire original trilogy happen in that throne room. Like, I just love Palpatine trying to get Luke to turn so much, and the fight between him and Vader is so emotional, because everyone knows that this is now father versus son, that this fight will determine the fate of the galaxy, and that especially at the end, Luke isn't just fighting to save himself, but to save his friends and sister too. And when he cuts off Vader's hand only to discover it's a cybernetic just like his, and that he very well could become just like his father if he doesn't pull back right this second. Oh, I love it. I love it. And Yoda's death is so heartbreaking too. Even if that little frog kinda peeves me off in that scene, cause it's like, bro, you know you're about to die. Why are you so reluctant to tell this man about his dad and his sister? Like, it's now or never, Kermit. Hello? And I've always thought that the sibling reveal on Endor was kinda clunky with its dialogue, but you know what? I won't forgive that, cause I love Luke and Leia too much. Like, we can forgive the clunky dialogue in that one scene. Coming in at number 2 is The Force Awakens. Yes, of course, nostalgia plays a role in how much I love this one. It came out the year I became a fan of the franchise and was the first one that I saw in theaters. I think this movie perfectly sets up the rest of the trilogy for success with so much potential and possibility. Yeah, it's heavily inspired by New Hope, but I don't care. This one is better in my opinion. I love Rey's introduction sequence, the escape hijinks with Finn and Poe, the heroes having to look over their shoulder as scoundrels and the First Order hunt down BB-8, the destruction of the New Republic, the race against the clock on Starkiller Base, the duels as the planet literally crumbles around them. It's just so much fun and such an exciting ride to be on. Like, I love this one so much. The only thing I will say about it is I do wish we had gotten some scenes, like 1 or 2 at the very beginning showing life in the New Republic and how everything is peaceful and how, life is good and all this stuff. And then the First Order comes in and fricks everything up. And it would make the destruction of the New Republic that hit that much harder, in my opinion. And now for my number 1 pick, my favorite in the entire saga, and if you've been keeping track, you know that it is going to be The Rise of Skywalker. Okay, put down the pitchforks and torches, let me live. Okay, look, I know it's a mess, but for me, it's a fun mess, it's my mess. I'm sorry, this movie gives me everything I want in a Star Wars movie. The adventure is fun, the fights and space battles are so exciting to watch. We get lots of Jedi and Sith stuff, the comedy makes me chuckle, it has characters I love, and introduces new characters that I really like hello, bring back Jenna. And I'm always here for melodramatic, messy family drama. Like, oh my god, it's kind of like Revenge in that the whole thing with like Rey being a Palpatine and all this stuff and the way that Kylo tells her, it's so soap opera-y, it's so melodramatic, I love it so much. And I don't care what any of you nerf herders say, Rey becoming the adoptive daughter and taking on the Skywalker name makes perfect sense for her character, and is also a perfect ending for her and the Skywalker as a whole now that the bloodline is gone. Overall, I'm happy with the way things turned out, and if the prequel stans can tell themselves that The Phantom Menace is some misunderstood masterpiece, then I can do the same with The Rise of Skywalker. Okay, this is my misunderstood masterpiece. I love this movie so much. It is so fun. Especially all the stuff on Exegol, like everything that happens on Exegol had me on the edge of my seat. The space battle, Ben fighting the Knights of Rens, Rey with her I am all the Jedi thing. Oh my god, I freaking love everything that happens on Exegol. It is so good in my opinion. I love it so much. And that's it from me. If you enjoyed this short little video, then please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell icon so you know when I upload next. Let me know in the comments your personal ranking of these movies and your thoughts on mine. Agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments, but be respectful please, because it's really not that serious. I'll talk to you next time. Bye!